you for joining me. It's Karen here from Snowball to Pink. Today I thought we'd change things up a little bit, and I thought we would do a very loose, free, kind of abstracty, but more of an expressionistic way of painting. It's going to be a very, very simple, excuse me, landscape. So first of all, I'm just dropping in some water. We're going to be mainly working in wet on wet, and I'm going to be using one colour straight from the palette, and this is indigo blue. So I'm just going to drop some lovely soft indigo blue in and just let that run, and we're just letting the paint do its thing. Now I'm keeping this very, very light because I just want to keep things very loose and not complicated. So we're just running our brush in just to make these lovely soft lines. Okay, just load the brush up again. Now what we're going to do is we're just going to get some water and just drag that lovely soft paint down, and that will be lovely. Okay, so if you just want to just damp that sky down a little bit, you can, and just go back into indigo and just drop some creamier paint in and just let it do its thing. Just see what the paint does, because this is kind of what we're looking for, is more expressive, intuitive way, and just letting the paint and the water react with the paper. So as you can see, I've just you can see that I've left some white spaces in between. Now that's really quite important, because that will give us the depth in our painting. So I'm going to go in with obviously with the same colour paint, and we're just going to drop some paint in there. And as you can see, it's running and making some interesting marks with the paint. It's running nicely. Now I'm just going to run my brush, a little bit more water. I'm just going to run my brush. Doesn't really matter, you can just kind of like an undulating, moving your paint up and down, more of like a wiggle, and then just bring that lovely soft paint down. And again on here, just bring that down there like so. If you want to go in with a darker colour up the top there, that's good, we can do that. If you want to bring it a little bit more to the sky, absolutely, you can do whatever you want. Okay, now I think I'm going to just catch this paint here and just drag it down into the last pieces of my paper, my white paper, and now the paper is not very wet, it's just damp, and we're just touching that just to bring it down. Again, letting the paint and the water do its thing. Now I'm going to change over to my Princeton size 4, which is a smaller round brush, and I'm going to load my brush up, and I'm just going to put a line just to give it a bit of more interest, because we're going to change the composition up a little bit. Okay, like so. Now you can go over to this side and let's put another interesting, maybe bring that up there. Load my brush up again and just, I'm really not thinking about this, I'm just being led with the paint and the way the water and the paint are reacting to one another, which is lovely. Again, I'm just letting that paint bleed out. Okay, just going to dab the excess water off on my paper towel. I'm going back in and I'm going to put far more creamier paint, a thicker paint. Now, I think we just put a little tree in there and we just wiggle our brush up like so. Okay, and then maybe we'll give another little tree there. Now you can put your tree wherever you want, but it just gives us a focal point into our landscape. We're really not being precious about this. We're just on our watercolour journey and we're just trying different techniques out and having fun. And there we go. I quite like that, the way it diffuses and gives us and you can take your tree up as high as you like. And there we go. Okay. Now if you want to make your tree come further out, absolutely, you can do that. You can do whatever you want. Now I'm just going to darken this area up a little bit here because it's closest to us. Okay, and I'm just going to put a little tree in there because it is further away from us, and then maybe a little one in there. Now it looks like, you know, we want to put some darker tones in here because these are closest to us. So I'm really going to load my brush up here and just drop that in. Again, not being precious with it, just letting it just do its thing. If you want to let that bleed out a little bit, absolutely can. Let's do that. Okay. Now if you want to go back into the sky just to make it a little bit more interesting or a little bit more darker, absolutely just run your brush up in the sky and then just soften it up with a little bit more water. You can do that. And that's lovely, that's moving quite nicely. I'm just going to put a little bit of a darker wash in this top bit, just to give us a little bit more definition. Okay, and then we're just going to bring that paint down. If you want to just put a little bit more definition into your mid-ground there, absolutely can. I think it looks quite nice when we get a little bit of a bleed going on. Gives us a sense of that there's a very stormy sky or even rain. It's we don't know what's on the, what's coming, do we, in this in our painting. I'm just going to run some clean water along there, and then I'm just going to drop in some paint just to soften that up a bit and give us some interest in the foreground. And again, let's make that a little bit more interesting there. Now, if you want to go back in with a more creamier paint and just make a bit more definite with your tree, absolutely can. If you like it softer, you can leave it like that as well. You can do whatever you find works or you particularly like. Okay, again, we're not being precious with this at all. We're just enjoying the way the paint moves and just seeing. Just going to put a little bit of a stronger. If you think, oh, I don't like that, it's too much, then you can just take it out. That's not a problem. Okay, but I actually don't mind that. I'm just gonna let that bleed up. And let some interesting things happen with the paint. Soften that edge off a bit. And there, just going to put a little bit more of a definition in this top piece where the kind of the land meets the sky, because I think that'll give us some interest too. And a little bit more darker. Well, I'm going to call that done. I'm in the throes of fiddling now, which I don't want to do, but when I feel like I'm going to fiddle, I just splatter. So there we have it. It's our one colour, straight from the palette, very quick, loose, expressive, intuitive landscape painting. I do hope you give it a go, and it's lovely that you've joined me. Don't forget to like and subscribe, and send me a message and let me know how you're getting on. Take care. Bye.